Your memories of Dick Allen and whether he is Hall-worthy.
One of the strongest men in baseball, and yes, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I have no doubt that he'll be there. I'll be very happy when he is. I was happy this year to learn that Ted Simmons was selected by the Veterans Committee, and he's going in this summer. Dick Allen, we were in Chicago, and it was 1972 because Gaylord Perry was pitching. And Gaylord was known that, everybody said that he threw this illegal pitch. I don't know why they keep talking about that. But having said that, I mean, it was one of the best I've ever seen in my life, by the way. And I only say that because he wrote a book, Gaylord did, called Me and the Spitter. And Gaylord would laugh and he'd say, hey, I only throw what my catcher calls. Well, we were in Chicago, and Ken Escorbani was the manager, and it was a Friday. It was a weekend series. We had a doubleheader on Sunday. And on Friday, Ken Escorbani called Gaylord to me in his office, and he said, this has nothing to do with you, Gaylord, but the president of the American League has said that at any time when the opposing manager thinks a pitcher, any pitcher, not just you, I mean, any pitcher could be, well, we all knew what it was all about, that if they think he's throwing an illegal pitch, they can go out to the home plate umpire and ask the umpire to check the pitcher for a foreign substance. So we're playing the White Sox, and Cleveland, we had a 1-0 lead going into the seventh inning. And I kept looking over the first 6 innings. I'm going, Chuck Tanner, what are you not seeing? I mean, the ball is just dropping out of sight. It starts in about knee high and ends up in the dirt almost. So I'm waiting. I'm going, what are you waiting for? Well, he was waiting for Dick Allen to come up. And Richie Allen came up at the bottom of the seventh inning. And thing about Gaylord, he was a sleight of hand, which you've watched his hands go to his calf and, all these different things, Well, he had it in the back of his neck. And he would have 2 tubes of capsulin, which is a very hot substance. The late Joe Moorfield, our trainer, would apply this capsulin to his back. And this heat would go up into his neck. And he had the hair, and he had this goop in the back of his neck. And so the umpire, when Chuck Tanner came out, the umpire went out, and I couldn't go. I had to stay at home plate. Guys, I picked up Richie Allen's bat. It was a 42-ounce bat. I almost broke my back picking it up, top heavy. And I said, man, you're strong. And so Gaylord, as he went down to get the rosin, he would wipe the back of his neck. And he picked up the rosin. The umpire went out, saw this goop in the back and all this heat and, it's hot day. And he said, look, I'm not going to – no, he's okay. So he comes back behind home plate. Chuck Tanner goes back to the dugout. I called for a slider. Gaylord, we had an add and subtract system, and he went 4-5. And I said, I hope you have enough. And he didn't. That ball came in like a batting practice fastball. The result, a home run by Richie Allen. He dropped that head of that 42-ounce bat on it, and that ball smoked in the upper deck and tied the game. The White Sox won the game in a walk-off in the 9th inning. Dick Allen, I hope he gets in the Hall of Fame. He deserves it. He never, ever showed those mighty biceps that he had. He always wore that long-sleeve Philly or White Sox sweatshirt, and you just knew underneath that the most massive arms you've ever seen, the strength. Guys today use a bat. I mean, when you're out at talk to the Phillies players or what size bat you use? Oh, maybe 31 ounces, 30. Dick Allen used a 42. So you talk about dropping the head. I mean, Dick Allen was just straight up with the bat, and he dropped the head of the bat on it, and he made contact, man. He was unbelievable. But a great guy. It was fun when he'd come to the plate because I knew whoever was pitching against him, it was always going to be a challenge. But, again, one of the strongest men I've ever seen in baseball. And, again, I hope, and he definitely deserves to be in Cooperstown.
Well, Ray, in our promo, we mentioned that we were going to talk about Joe Girardi, the Phillies' new manager. Hopefully we'll get to see him actually do his managing on the field this year. Joe
Girardi, first of all, he's a nice family man. He's got a wife. He's got kids. When I interview him, I always say, how's the family? And, but Joe Girardi is such a special person because he knows the game of baseball. And I'm not saying it's just because he was a catcher, but not surprisingly, there's a lot of former catchers managing major league teams as we speak of the 30 teams. But Joe Girardi, very, very astute, knows the game. And the thing that he does so well, he utilizes the players. And I think the biggest thing with the communication, and there was a little bit of lack of that with the Yankees whenever he was fired. And I remember reading where someone said the best manager that the Yankees could hire has just been fired, and that's Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi deserves to be in the game of baseball. He deserves to manage. He is the best manager that I've seen. I mean, and the thing about it, guys, if you think about how tough it is to manage, I don't want to say, but I've heard comments about managing in Philadelphia that fans boo Santa Claus. I mean, I know it's a rumor, but I've heard that before. And Joe managed in New York, did a great job under the late George Steinbrenner and the Yankee fans. And you know, when you start playing the game of baseball and you get to postseason, when Joe managed the Yankees, and I'm sure it's going to be the same in Philadelphia, you don't just try to win the division or win the divisional series or win the league championship series. You start to win the World Series. And I think that's the ultimate goal of every manager. And I think when you have Joe Girardi managing your team, he brought Didi Gregorius over from the Yankees to play shortstop. You've got Ria Muto behind the plate. Was a guy named Bryce Harper? Is he there now?
Yeah.
Good. He'll be in right field, you betcha.
Now, he knows the game in and out, and I think he's going to be a tremendous asset to the Philadelphia Phillies, just a tremendous person. So I think he's going to be really, really good for the Philadelphia Phillies. Joe's got experience, and I think to me that's important when you have a team that the Phillies do that's supposed to win. And again, you go in with great expectations in a season, and you look at the players on the team, and you start saying, hey, this got a chance to win. Well, that's where Joe Girardi can be a huge influence as a manager, because when he makes a move, he's going to know what he's making. He's managing the National League, so he can do the double switching. He's managing the American League in a tough city, New York, and now he's going to manage the Phillies. I think he's going to be tremendous.